Alright guys, today I have a quick video on how you can get a 426, well actually it's a 427, or a 440, which is actually a 439 cubic inch Gen 3 Hemi from a 5.7 liter block. Yes, you heard that right. Okay, so basically it all comes down to the crankshaft. And long story short, most Hemi stroker kits use a 4.05 or 4.08 stroke crank. However, you can get a Molnar, or K1 also makes them, a 4.25 stroke crankshaft for the Gen 3 Hemis. And yes, they may not be very popular to use in 5.7 blocks. However, they are used extensively with the big stroker motors for like the 454, for like the 6.4 base ones. So as you can see here, here's MMX's 6.4 440, or sorry, 454 stroker kit, and it uses the 425 stroke Molnar crank. They also use the 6.125 rods and Molly pistons. This has been used before in 5.7 builds, just not super extensively. Tony Bischoff used them years ago to win the MotorTrend's Engine Master Challenge. He actually, as well as other teams have used them as well. They use them here, so 417. So basically, they use them to make a 417 cubic inch motor, but they use the same crank. So you can go down to the specs here. Great article, by the way. He made over 700 horsepower NA from a 5.7 stroker. Yeah, so used a smaller bore of 3.95 and the 425 crank. So, the way you can increase your displacement from a 417 to a 427 or even a 439 would be to get that bore higher. Now, they use for the competition, I believe that the Engine Master Challenge has set rules where they're not allowed to go set displacement. However, guys have gone beyond to and beyond a 4-inch bore with the 5.7 block. From what I've heard, the earlier blocks, like the 03 to 05 truck blocks, do have the thickest walls of the 5.7 blocks. However, I have seen and heard of people who have used the VVT motors and the 06 to 08 motors as well, up to 4 inches or beyond. So, as a matter of fact, we go here. This guy, he's actually a guy up from Canada here. He runs 5.7 motors on his pulling tractors with big 671 blowers. He runs, as you can see, 29, so basically 30 pounds of boost through him. However, his are bored out to the 6.1 bore, 4055, and he still sees 120 thousandths thick. So this is when he blew up, but still in an NA scenario, this would be fine. I should have specified that I wouldn't really recommend doing this in a boosted motor, although Monty here has had tremendous success as he's still using them, so that goes to show. But he's using, I believe, early truck blocks, so like the 03 to 05 blocks, and he's still seeing that much wall thickness with them, bored out to a 4055 bore. So other examples would be this guy. This motor's, he sold it a long time ago, but KBR 577, he had a VVT block bored out to 4-inch with the 425 crank, and that nets, as you can see, a 427 cubic inch. So MMX also sells, or sorry, this is Arlington Shop Hemi. They also sell the kit. MMX sells the kit as well with the crank and the rods and the pistons. You can select your bore size. So they are used in, like I said, they're more common to use with the SRT blocks, but you can use them with the 5.7 blocks. So what I'm essentially saying is if you could use the 425 crank, either a 4-inch bore or a 4.055 bore, the 6.1 bore, and you could net either a 427 or 438 cubic inch, sorry, 439. So basically, here's the your engine displacement calculator: 4-inch bore, 425 crank, and there you go, 427 cubic inch. Or what I'm planning on doing, I have a spare block, is I'm gonna plan on bringing it to the 6.1 bore, 4055, and there's 439 cubic inches from a 5.7 liter block. Now, this of course would be best for an NA motor. You can, I've heard and seen Shop Hemi, they recommend you can do low boost on them. Although, as you can see, Mont here is running 30 psi through them. With that said, the rod angles really aren't great. That's why MMX recommends the 411 bore, or sorry, 411 motor with the 3.9 crank, just so you have more overlap. Because once you get to this point, your overlap, it's really, and your rod angles, they're not looking too good. But for an NA motor, this would be an insane torque monster. Tony Bischoff and his motor, for the challenge, they only run them to 6,500 RPM. And with the drag pack intake manifold, it made over 700 on the dot at 6,500, and still climbing. So the drag pack intake manifold, like the Holley Hiram, super short runner intake, so that thing loves RPM. Wouldn't surprise me if this thing made like 50 more horsepower with another, say, 500,000 RPM. Spin this thing to 7 grand. But yeah, no, pretty impressive stuff, and I'm just putting this information out just to make it more well known. Not a lot of people know that what the 5.7 block is capable of. And again, like I said, wouldn't recommend this for boost, but in an NA scenario, it's a cheaper way to get a big displacement stroker than buying an SRT, an SRT or 6.4 block. So let me know what you guys think, or if you have any input on it. But that's just a quick video I took.